Hola, hola, hola. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Mujer de Éxito Unbounded, Woman of Success Without Limits. I am MartiAngel, su anfitriona, your host for the Mujer de Éxito Unbounded. This is a podcast where we celebrate your raw and your realness and your diversity, and we celebrate your story that you, whether you're doing it in life or in your business, going from surviving to thriving. Mujeres, today, chulas hermosas, I am so excited, so excited to share my story that just happened the other day. And it's all about, transitioning. It's all about transitioning. It's about a rebirth. So if you have been watching me for a while and wondering, I have been this sixth sense person since I can remember. They used to call me an empath. They used to call me, psychic. They used to call me lots of things. They even called me bruja, which means witch. And I grew up with a stigma that I was a bruja. So a lot of times that was really bad. But I want to be honest with you, my abuela was a curandera, which, now they call it a healer, witch, and whatever. But today I'm going to talk a little bit about, give you an opening to my story and why I honestly believe that every time there is darkness in my life or darkness in the world, something happens and the light shines through, and all of a sudden it's as though my spirit opens up and I'm beginning to channel again. Now, I've always been a meditator, todo el tiempo, meditadora como siempre. And, I was a yoga professor teaching all about the yoga, teaching Sanskrit, all of that stuff. And Reiki healer, I'm a Reiki healer, and all of a sudden, again, I'm starting to get that energy. Boom. And mostly right before the transition into what we call, the new era. We're walking into a new era. Everything's in alignment, and it's so important that you understand this new era. But I'm going to share something. Voy a compartir quién soy. I'm going to share who I've been, because I feel like I've been hiding. A lot of people don't know this about me. They just know that I know things, but they don't know how. And so I'm going to share a little bit. So today's episode is talking about the energy within, recognizing and trusting the universal signs. These universal signs, mujeres, are the ones that I use in order to make my six-figure income in my business. So I'm hoping that you can take something out of this and use it for your everyday. If you're watching me on the Coach MartiAngel YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell so that you know when I go live. And if you've never watched me live, I dare you to watch me live, right? Because everybody says I talk with my hands, hablo con las manos, and it's craziness. But if you're listening to me wherever you listen to your favorite podcast shows, then gracias to all my listeners, and make sure you check the show notes because I have some goodies for you. All right. So let's talk about today. Let's talk and let's get going on another empowering episode for you, the Mujer de Éxito, Unbounded, because that's who you are. Everybody, all of the people that listen to me, whether you're a woman or a man, you are a Mujer de Éxito that's unbounded. You are part of the Mujer de Éxito Unbounded movement. And this podcast is, like I said, where I help seasoned mujerpreneurs like you, como tú, step into your power, live your purpose, and manifest your dreams. Soy su anfitriona, MartiAngel. That's a hard word to say, by the way. Side note. That's a hard word to say. Anfitriona. Anyway, my name is MartiAngel, and today's episode is all about aligning your energy and recognizing the signs of the universe so that you, mujer hermosa chula, can actually begin to rock six figures, right? So let's talk about how do you recognize the universe is sending you signs? And when you begin to recognize these signs, you begin to really understand, whoa, that we are not alone. So anyway, grab your cafecito or your tecito and let's dive in, mujercitas. Today, like I said, we are talking about the energy within, recognizing and trusting the universal signs. But let me start by sharing a personal story with you. So last week, I was feeling overwhelmed. Now, when I say I'm feeling overwhelmed, I understand that it's not me personally all the time, but because I'm an empath, I can actually feel what my neighbors are going through. I can feel their energy. And that's something that I've always had to learn to deal with, clean my energy and call back my energy, all of those things. But I was feeling overwhelmed, exhausted from all the political noise and all the political events around us, feeling defeated like many of you. And that lingering heaviness, that doesn't seem to go away, for me at least. And it doesn't go away. I'm having a little bit of trouble sleeping. This is a good segue to say, you know what? Those CBD gummies are great. And that Pure Rest that I take, woohoo! I love that Pure Rest. Anyway, let's talk about what's your story, Marty? Okay, vamos. So there I was. I was on Threads and I was reading, the witchy threads. And one of them said, ask your guides for guidance. And I thought, I'm always asking my guides for guidance. But most recently, I had been so caught up in the energy of the world that I didn't ground myself and I wasn't really listening to my guides. And my guides they're basically, who are your guides? Your guides are energetic beings who, for me, have always had my best interest at heart. And I'm very careful to make sure I call in the right guides. And, that'll be for another episode. But I was asking for a sign to remind me that I'm not alone. So here's the words that basically I said. I'm calling in my guides for my highest truth and compassion, my guides that have been with me, whether they are, my thrones, my angels, my whatever it is that you call in. But for me, I was calling in the power of the Holy Spirit and opening myself. And I asked, please show me either a white rose or show me a white feather, so that I can understand that you are with me and that I'm not alone, that I am being guided by you and that you have me in your energy, in your embrace. Simple, right? Very simple. So later that day, like every day, my husband and I, we usually take our dogs out for a walk in the middle of the day. It gives him a break. He takes his lunch out a half hour, and then we do that. So we came back from the walk, and as I was walking into my driveway, there it was, a pure white feather sitting perfectly at the start of my driveway. My heart stopped, and then I got so excited, and I told my husband, I said, oh my God, here's my sign. And he's lived with me for all his life, right? I've had him longer than his mother. And so what ends up happening, he looks at me and he goes, hey, did you ask for a sign? Because he knows I always ask for signs. And I said, yeah, I picked it up. And in that instant, in the moment that my hands physically touched that, I felt such a joy and peace. It was just so fulfilling. I can't explain it. I felt like I expanded 10,000 times beyond this body. It was the universe, I know it was, saying, Marty, we're here. Keep trusting. We got you, babe. We got you. Fue un momento que no les puedo explicar, que casi volé, me sentía así grande, más grande, el espíritu más grande que mi cuerpo. So it wasn't a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence. And if you have ever taken a class from me, thank you to my students who still listen to the podcast. If you've ever taken a class from me, you understand that I have said there are no coincidences in this world. There are only workings for you, right? So, amigas chulas hermosas, this was a message that I know that you have experienced moments like this too. But the only difference between me and you is the fact that I am probably just a little more aware and have had more practice with it than you have. Think about this. When something shows up just when you need it, you think, oh, that's a coinky-dink. No, it's not a coinky-dink. It's something that you have manifested because it's something that you need in your life. And today, amigas chulas hermosas, we're going to talk about how to recognize and trust those universal signs. Tienen que tenerle confianza a los signos que les manda el universo. But let's talk about this. Understanding energy. How, Marty? People ask me, ¿cómo? ¿Cómo comprendo la energía? How do I understand this energy? Well, ladies, hermosas, chulas, everything in this world is energy. Einstein taught us this, and it still holds true even for our thoughts and our emotions. When we think or feel something with intensity, we're sending energetic pulses into the universe. And that pulse can either be strong or it can be very light. It's like we're broadcasting, hermosas. It's like we're broadcasting, just like you're listening to this podcast. It's like we're broadcasting on a specific frequency. And guess what? The universe will match your frequency. The universe matches that frequency that you are pulsating out, as I say to everybody, that you are emoting out, and it sends it back to us. For example, por ejemplo, if you're constantly thinking, oh my goodness, I'm overwhelmed, nothing works for me, I'm so tired, I don't have any energy, I can't do this, oh my God, this is such a long day. Does that sound familiar to you? Well, let me tell you what you're doing. You're broadcasting out into the world like I'm broadcasting out into the world here. You're broadcasting your frustration. Al momento que siempre dicen, ay no, estoy muy cansada, ay no tengo energía, ay no, nunca me salen las cosas, ay no puedo, ay, whatever. Lo que estás haciendo es estás mandando al universo esa frecuencia de frustración. ¿Y qué te parece cuando el universo te va a mandar otra vez de regreso esa frustración y más oportunidades para ser frustrada? Trust me, the universe responds with situations that amplify that frustration. So what do I do, Marty? What do I do, you're asking? Well, when you shift your mindset to gratitude and possibility, you open up the flow for positive energy to return. So you take a deep breath. Do it with me right now. Take a deep breath. Exhale through your mouth. Shake your shoulders. Move your head around. Move your neck around. Smile and say out loud, I am grateful for everything I have, for all that I am, and all that I'm about to become. And if you don't remember that phrase, if you're a student of mine, all of you guys remember that phrase. I still get, texts from you guys and DMs saying, I remember that phrase, Professor, right? If you don't remember that phrase, then think about what is it that you're grateful for. And it could be the eyes to see the sunlight. When I forget about what it is, when it's like I want to be grateful, I just say, thank you, God, for the eyes to see. Thank you, God, for the ears to hear. Whatever it is, just find that gratitude. The more you find the gratitude, take your right hand, your dominant hand, if you're right-handed or left-handed, put it over your heart and then cover it with the other hand, and then just kind of rub in a clockwise position and just say, And then remember where you've tasted something so good that your mouth waters. And there, my friends, that is gratitude. That is gratitude. It truly is. So turn on that positive flow. Turn it on like a faucet, man. It's so incredibly important for you to change your energy by being in gratitude. That was a little quick exercise, but let me give you another little quick exercise. Take a moment to reflect. I want you to think about this. And by the way, as you're thinking about this, I want to share with you that I am giving a free 3-day email course. And if you're listening to me on the Coach MartiAngel YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe, because I'm giving you tips in order to learn to walk into the magic of manifestation, so that you can manifest in 2025 that which you want. I know we're walking into some dark times, but I promise you that in dark times, you are going to be a thriver, not a survivor, baby. I know it. If you're listening to me today, you are hearing me because this message is for you. Es para ti. You are going to be the thriver you've always wanted to be, because you are going to broadcast energy. So make sure you sign up for that email course. It's free. And look for right here, if you're watching me on the Coach MartiAngel YouTube channel, again, subscribe, hit that bell, and look down for the link. And if you're listening to me where you listen to your favorite podcasts, look at the show notes. The link will be there. Join me. But ask yourself, what energy am I broadcasting at this moment? What energy am I broadcasting today? Woo! Now that's some serious doo-doo, man. Right? So you've gotta, really, really change that energy. Now let's talk about recognizing the universal signs. Vamos a hablar de cómo distinguir esos signos universales que nos está mandando el universo. So let's talk about those signs. Those signs, the signs that you're getting, those are little nudges the universe gives you to let you know you're on the right path. They come they come in so many forms, and they can come in so many forms. Don't close yourself off and say, it's got to be this way. I got to see it in a movie. I got to see it physically. No. And remember when I showed you what I was asking for? I said, be it a palpable, feather, be it a picture of a feather, be it somebody mentioning a white feather, be it watching a cartoon of a white feather, whatever it is, anyway, right? Think about your senses. You're hearing somebody talk about a white feather, you're seeing a white feather somehow, you're touching a white feather, or you're feeling like all of a sudden a lightness like a feather, right? Those are different ways that we need to be open to the signs that the universe is actually giving us. Now, let me share a little story with you. Many times I ask for a sign. And one time I was in a bookstore in Hawaii, and a book falling off the shelf was my sign. And I want to share with you that, a book falling off the shelf, it could be your sign. A conversation with a stranger could be your sign. Or like me, a feather in my driveway. But one of the biggest reasons that we miss the signs is what I explained to you before, is we want it to come the way we want it to. And then sometimes we're just so busy and distracted that we don't even catch the signs. But they're there, I promise. And MartiAngel does not make promises she can't keep. We just need to slow down enough to notice. Tienes que pararte y irte más despacio para ver, amigas chulas hermosas, ¿Cuál es la lengua del universo? The language of the universe. So the universe is always speaking to you all the time. You just have to tune into that frequency. And when you don't see the signs, it means that you're tuned into a different frequency. So again, now let me share, there are 3 ways to start recognizing. But let me go back. I'm not finished with my story, and I'll give it to you in a little bit, okay? But you need to ask clearly. Be specific in your request like I was. Either show it to me with a white rose or a white feather. So you got to be specific in your requests. And I know my mentor, Gabby, used to say, give it, tell him in a time frame, 24 hours. I don't do that. I just ask for it a day because I find that they usually answer me. So I don't have to worry about putting in a time, but you can. So I didn't leave any room for ambiguity because I asked for the white feather today. But stay open. Once you ask, you must stay open. Signs might show up in unexpected ways. Don't dismiss them just because they're not what you expected. Trust the timing, hermosas chulas. Sometimes signs come into you when you least expect them, but when you need them, cuando los necesitas más, that is so important. Think back, hermosas chulas. What's a sign that you have received recently? And how did it make you feel? Example, you're thinking about somebody and then they text you or they call you. That's a sign. You're in that frequency. You've all been there. We've all done that. You just have to stay open and trust me. The next part of this is to align your energy for manifestation. Now let's talk a little bit about how to align your energy so you're not just recognizing signs, but actively manifesting your desires. Remember I said before, set clear intentions, number 1. Be clear about what you want and why. Write it down and feel the emotions as if it's already there. But the why doesn't, be careful with that why. The why, it can be a double-edged sword. Because when you start to say why, because I want it, because I deserve it, because it's going to help me pay off bills, because whatever it is, do not feel guilty. Don't let the dark side in. There is no guilt. It's okay to want what you want and why you want it. But it just needs to be why, so that I can pay off more bills, so that I can share more, so that I can attract more, so I can build my community and share all this knowledge with them. Whatever it is, write it down, and feel the emotions as if it's already there. I know that you guys are probably thinking, this woman is crazy. She's like on a high, so much energy. But the truth is, every time I'm here giving you the podcast, yes, I'm on a high because I know that I channel these podcasts, these episodes, right? Because every week I ask for guidance on what it is that the world needs to hear, what it is my community needs to hear. Okay? Now let's go back. Let's focus on gratitude. Gratitude, like I said before, is one of the highest frequencies you can broadcast. When you're grateful, you're telling the universe, I'm ready, baby, I'm ready. Bring it on, bring it on. Cada vez que tú estás en la vibración de gratitud, de dar gracias, es como que si le dijeras al universo, aquí estoy abierta para recibir todo lo que tú tienes que darme, que está maravilloso. And then visualize with emotion. We don't all visualize as perfectly as we see movies, right? But you can practice it. And that's another thing that I'm teaching you in the e-course, right? It's an email course, so you don't even have to see me. You can, it's a short email course. You can actually do it on your own time. Don't just see your goals, though, hermosas chulas. Feel them. Imagine the joy, the excitement, or the peace that they bring. You see, one of my favorite practices is start each day with a gratitude affirmation, something like I shared with War. Thank you, universe, for guiding me today. I trust the path I'm on. Or I am thankful for everything I have, for all that I am and all that I'm about to become. So now let me go back before I actually close out today. Let me go back and tell you about my other story. My book fell on my head in Hawaii. So my husband and I, we moved to Hawaii because of his job, and I was distraught because I had never been away from my family for such a long time. And my mom and I were very, very, very close, and it just killed me to take away my children, whom she loves so much, and be so far away. And so I cried for almost a whole month. And, it was just, I wasn't feeling the peace inside. And I remember going back in the day to the bookstore. And I was in the bookstore, and as I walked in, I said, "Thank you, bookstore. Thank you." And I said, "Dear Lord, dear God, I call in the power of the Holy Spirit. I call my guides of my highest truth and compassion to actually show me a sign and give me some peace with what I'm feeling," right? And so I left it at that. I took a deep breath and I walked around. I was looking for a book to read. And then I, for some reason, decided to sit down in front of this one bookshelf, right? It was a self-help, a self-development aisle. And I sat down, and as I sat down, I looked at my shoelace. It was untied, and I started to go for it, and I began to kind of tie my shoe, so I had bowed my head down, and all of a sudden, I was starting to get up, and I leaned on the bookshelf, And before I got all the way up, bam, this book comes flying out of the bookshelf, hits me on the head, almost knocks me out. It actually hurt, and it was so bad. And then I rubbed my head, and, like the rest of us was like, oh, shit, right? And it was like, oh my goodness. And I'm rubbing my head. And as I looked down at the title of the book was God's messages, signs and wonders of how God speaks to you. And I was like, what? Oh my goodness. So obviously I took the sign, I looked at the book, and I said, this is the book I got to have. And I took it home and I began to read, and it deepened my resolve to be this manifester that I know that you can truly be. And I have manifested multiple income streams ever since I was aware of it, right? And like I said before, amigas chulas, I've created a free 3-day email mini course called The Energy Within, Aligning Your Thoughts and Emotions. And in this course, you're going to learn how to understand the energy you broadcast, recognize the signs the universe sends you, and aligns your energy to manifest your desires. So make sure you sign up today at the link in the show notes or the link below in the description below at the Coach MartiAngel YouTube channel. It's free, and it's my gift to you in gratitude for you, my listeners, my watchers. And don't forget, amigas chulas hermosas, journaling is a powerful way to process this work. After today's episode, I encourage you to write down one sign you've received recently and how it made you feel. You might be surprised at what you discover. So, amigas hermosas chulas, gracias. Thank you for spending this time with me ahora, today. And remember, Mujer de Éxito Unbounded, you are not alone. Nunca estás solita. The universe is always guiding you. You just have to look and listen. Hasta la próxima. Stay aligned, stay grateful, and keep shining your light, hermosas chulas, con mucho amor. This is your host, MartiAngel, signing off, diciendo gracias. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Namaste.